Do you like donuts? Does almost everyone agree that donuts taste good, right? However, one of the most renowned donuts shop in the world, Dunkin Donuts, couldn't wow the Indian market. Hi guys, today we are going to discuss why Dunkin Donuts failed in India.
Yeah.
They are in the quick service industry which has met with great success in the US and Western countries. But what went wrong in India? Let's begin with the history and how they started. It all started in 1948 when the whole world was under the influence of World War II. An entrepreneur initially sold sandwiches, coffee, and donuts to the laborers at a shipyard in Massachusetts. Both donuts and coffee turned out to be the best sellers there. His earnings were sufficient enough to open up an eatery selling only coffee and donuts, and that is how Dunkin' Donuts was born. This person was none other than William Rosenberg. There are a total of 9,300 Dunkin' locations in the US as of October 2021 and is growing at a significant rate in terms of revenue in Western countries. Dunkin' Donuts has defined its key position as a primary shop for those who needed to get a speedy breakfast on their approach to work. The brand is inseparable from breakfast essential in the US. In 2012, with the help of Jubilant Foodworks Limited, they launched Dunkin' Donuts in India. Jubilant Foodworks also operates Domino's in India. They entered the Indian market with the same thought that they followed in the US, the donut model to serve breakfast to customers from 7 a.m. onwards. Now I want to ask you guys two important questions and that will sum up everything. How many times have you eaten breakfast out of home? How many of you consume something sweet towards the beginning of the day? I know the answers of most of you guys, and so their initial model didn't align with the Indian culture. Donuts were not an ideal breakfast option for Indian consumers. Also, sweet foods generally do not qualify as breakfast to the Indian taste. They identified this problem early on and tried to reposition themselves. This again was a huge positioning failure. First, they expanded their menu. They introduced burgers, sandwiches, tea, and positioned themselves as a breakfast or lunch or dinner cafe. They positioned themselves as a whole meal, whereas Indian fast foods are usually a midday snack. Not only that, in this category, they faced huge competitions from various international fast food chains like McD, KFC, Starbucks, etc. By 2018, they had closed almost half of the stores in India. Let's take an example of Lollipop, which has been recently launched in the market, and the Lollipop company associates it with the chocolate. Now what happens? Chocolate becomes the frame of reference in the minds of customers. This is a bad frame because when we hear chocolate, our mind understands this, due to which the lollipop loses its significance. But here, when you change the frame of reference to a candy, now it all starts to make sense. So you can position the lollipop as a candy on a stick, which is easy to have. Exactly the same happened with donuts. Assume donuts in place of lollipop and sweets in place of chocolate. Dunkin' Donuts tried associating itself to Indian sweets and launched assorted donuts for Diwali, like Kesar Badam was one of the flavors. This backfired because it cannot replace the relevance of traditional sweets in India, nor could be as flamboyant as a cake. Its significance was reduced. Now, in the people's mind, it just became bread with glazing. So according to me and based on my research, what they could have done is they could have positioned coffee and donuts as an evening snack option for the hundreds of working youngsters and job professionals in India who would grab a cup on their way back home. Now I'd like to explain a few concepts which are important. What is straddle positioning? It is one of the positioning strategies adopted by the marketeers to position their product in two categories simultaneously. In simple words, it is used to create a dual image of the product. In straddle positioning, marketers use blend of point of parity and point of difference. So point of parity are qualities that you share with your competitive brands, and point of difference are qualities that make you stand out from your competitive set. In our case, Dunkin can create a straddle positioning by focusing on the point of parity with premium cafes like Starbucks and CCD, and also by focusing on its point of difference of grab and go donuts and coffee. To conclude, Dunkin' Donuts had and remains to have a tough time growing the business in India. Not saying that the business will go extinct. I hope you guys got some value from today's video and learned something new. I'll be coming up with more interesting brand stories and concepts on my YouTube channel, so please do not forget to subscribe and do like this video as well so that it reaches more people. Thank you.